Good morning. It is November 6th, 2023. In this video, I want to talk to you about setting your thermostat lower. Now, as we're going into winter, um, we're turning on the heat. It's getting colder outside. And I want to just go over a few things that you can do to save some money. Now, first of all, you can set your heat lower. The minimum that your heat should be set is 50 degrees. I don't know who sets it at 50 degrees. I certainly don't. But that's just the general rule of thumb to keep your pipes from freezing and all of that. Now, a couple tips for you to save some money on your utility bills is you can get a programmable thermostat. I've never had experience with the smart thermostats. I hate the idea of smart thermostats. I honestly despise them. I don't like them. But that's up to you. Make sure your thermostat is actually working correctly. We actually had one that was way off by several degrees. It was an old Mercury thermostat, and it was not doing very well. So you want to make sure that you have a thermostat that's working pretty great. This is just a regular programmable thermostat, just a standard Honeywell programmable thermostat. It's pretty basic, pretty simple. We don't program it, but I just set it to where I need it, and it displays the temperature properly and what it's set at. So I'll bring you up closer here so you can see. Yeah. So that's it. That's a heat and cool thermostat. Now you want to make sure that your thermostat is correctly wired. You want to make sure that if it just controls the heat, that it's a heat-only thermostat. If it controls heating and cooling, you want it to have heat and cool. And so, yes. So that's just something to think about. Now, another thing is, keeping your heat lower, like I said. We tend to set ours at about 65-ish. 65 to 68 in the beginning when it's like really cold and we're just getting adjusted to the cooler temperatures. And then we slowly work our way down. We tend to go about 63-ish in that range. And at night we'll set it at 60. I know that sounds really cold to a lot of people, but when you've grown up with not being able to afford much, in terms of utility, so you kind of learn to deal with cooler temperatures and you just bundle up. So that's that. That's some ways to think about it. Now, you don't have to set it that low if you don't want to. And I've just gotten used to that because that's what I've grown up with. We've always had it in the low 60s in the wintertime in our house. You can take a space heater and heat the room that you're in to what you want, and then set the main furnace at whatever temperature is ideal. Because honestly, we don't want to be freezing, but at the same time, there's no need to just blast the heat, to 75 degrees. It's just not, you know. So wear longer sleeve shirts, put on a sweater, you know, wear shoes, slippers, house shoes, socks, things like that. Um, Now, obviously, I'm not saying like just bundle up into like a down jacket and be freezing in your house. No. But what I'm saying is do some things to kind of keep yourself comfortable without having to raise the thermostat too much. Um, so, yes. Now, for every degree that you turn your thermostat down in the winter with the heat, you save between 1 and 3% on your utility bills. Let's think about that, you know? So, I try to go as low as I can go. Like, I don't want to go super low to where I'm like, just freezing every time I walk around the house. But at the same time, I don't want to, run my heat unnecessarily. Um, and why we turn it down at night is because we're in bed under the heavy down blankets. We're keeping ourselves warm there, so there's no need to have the heat up so high. And then when we get up in the morning, we turn it up a little more. And, it feels fairly comfortable. The other thing is you want to make sure that your insulation is good. You want to make sure that, you don't have any weather stripping that's, damaged or pulling away. You want to make sure that your windows are locked, so that way they can seal properly. If there's any gaps, you might want to like spray foam, in those gaps to seal air from leaking. And yes, and then just, the normal, like, if you are cold, use a space heater in the space that you're in. Use blankets. Drink some hot coffee, some tea, whatever it is to keep you warm. And these are just some tips and ideas. You don't have to go crazy with it. I mean, you can go, like, for example, if you're used to setting it at like 70 or 72, you can go down to 68, and just work your way down. Whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, I know that 60 to 63 is not the normal for most people, and I realized that just recently. But that's the way I was raised, it's just, you think nothing of it. And, I get cold very easily, okay? So I'm not somebody who's hot very easily. Like, when it comes to air conditioning, I can go up to like 78, okay? No, we don't go to 78. You know, my parents just won't do that, but that's fine. That's just where they're comfortable. So wherever you're comfortable with, just kind of stretch yourself a little bit and just go 1 degree down at a time until you're comfortable enough. And like I said, use space heaters, blankets, whatever you can. And also, when you're cooking, if you use the oven and you're done with the oven and you turn it off, leave the oven door propped open so that way the heat can go into the house. Use a fireplace if you have a fireplace. There's just many ways to heat your home and make make your furnace, not have to work as hard, and in turn saving you money. Because if you're, like, for example, if you're already using the oven to cook, why would you keep that oven door closed when you're done? Just leave it open a little bit and let that heat out into the house, because you already paid for that energy to cook that food, you know, so get the full use out of it. Let that heat out into the house, you know, and yeah, there's many ways, you know, cook stuff on your stove rather than in the microwave, because the stove will add heat to the house. Um, you know, just all kinds of things that you can do um, to improve your heating and try and save some money this winter and also stay comfortable. So I hope that was informative. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos.